Hey, welcome to Wealthy Boss. My name's Mariah, and today is a beginner, but don't let that trick you. It's still going to be a challenging bar workout, but the choreography is going to be pretty simple, and we're going to take you through some great things to not only work your lower body, but also your core, your abs, and it's going to be over before you know it, and afterwards you're going to think it's a lot of fun. It really is. Bar is one of the most fun workouts there are. It definitely is challenging in the moment, but you get such a rush afterwards, and the movements feel graceful and pretty, and I can't wait for you to try it. So let's get started. Let's begin standing in the middle of our mat, feet hip-width distance apart, and we're going to take some alternating forward lunges. So you'll just step forward with one leg and then back together. Take it to the other side. So you get to decide how far down you want to go today, making sure that you're stepping far enough forward that the knee is not coming over the toe, but is right above the ankle joint. It's better to step further forward and just not bend the knees quite so deeply if you're wanting to modify. Now challenging that balance a little bit, adding a different plane of motion, adding the side to side plane. See if we can add a side reach for that lunge. Good, so you're reaching towards the side of the leg that is stepping forward. Lengthening the side of the body. Good. Do two more each side. Last one. Good, now we're gonna take it out to the side. So stepping out to the right, I'd like you to add a twist, step together, and then step out to the left. Together, right, together, left, together. Yes. Now, my fingertips are reaching the floor, but yours absolutely do not have to. You find a range of motion that makes your knees happy, that makes you happy. We want you to come back and try this again another day. So we want it to feel like just the right amount of challenge for you. That's going to look different for every single person. Yes. Stepping and twisting. Maybe you add a little bit more rotation. Maybe instead of challenging yourself to squat deeper, lunge deeper, maybe you challenge yourself to twist a little further. Nicely done. Finishing out on each side. And then we're gonna step it in. We're gonna step to a little bit wider than hip width distance apart, but our feet are gonna be parallel. So we're gonna sink it down into our sumo squat, so feet are parallel. And then right off the bat, we turn the toes out for a little plie squat. So we just keep alternating. All that we're doing besides bending our knees each time, the only way we're changing this movement is by taking the toes from parallel to wide. Parallel to wide. So we're targeting different areas of the legs here. This is going from the sumo squat to the plie by externally rotating those hips. You're probably feeling that heart rate start to climb. That's a good thing, if it wasn't already, although I'm sure it was. Good. Keep this going. You can do it. Now we're going to mix it up a little bit. I want you to go only halfway down and all the way up. So same for both our sumo squat and our plie. Just halfway down, all the way up. Good. 4, 3, 2. Feet are parallel again. This time you're going to sink it down into our pulse. So it's just going to be a little lift up and down, and then knees never fully straighten as you take the toes out for that plie. So it's just a little bit up, a little bit down, but we're staying super slow and controlled with it. Yeah, there it is. How about 3, 2, 1, and come all the way up to standing. Excellent. Now from here, we're gonna step a giant step out to the right, and our feet are gonna stay fixed as we bend into that knee and then straighten. Bend and straighten. So you could take your hands to your thigh, or if you wanted to add that twist, you could, just like we did with our earlier warm-up. So maybe now you're sinking a little bit deeper than you did during our warm-up. We're gonna be here a little while, so we're still pacing ourselves, but we're really digging into those major muscles along the posterior chain, lighting up our metabolism by working larger muscle groups. But don't worry, we're doing a lot of stabilization with smaller muscle groups to keep our bodies really safe and free from injury. Give me 2 more full range. And now we're gonna come halfway down, all the way up. Halfway down, all the way up. Good. Moving through our sequence here. Make sure you're not hunching with your shoulders. Let's keep those shoulders nice and away from the ears. For 3, 2. Getting ready to go to our bottom half now. Find your end range of motion here, the bottom section of that lunge, and you're only lifting halfway. There it is, digging deep. Yes, we are working for it. You got this. Working the muscles along the gluteus medius, keeping our knees nice and happy and healthy. Good, now we want to pause here. Just 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Remember, there's no bouncing or rocking. This is super slow and controlled. Our muscles are doing all the work. Amazing. How about 4, 3, 2, give me a nice hold here. Hold it down. Spread those wings out like you're gonna fly. Okay, are you with me? You can take a break if you need, but if you're craving more, it won't last long. I want you to go side lunge all the way down, all the way up, and lift that leg. Oh, yes. So giant movement here. Lift, lunge, lift, lunge. Do you have 6 more in you? I know you do. How about 4, 3, reach for it. Super strong muscles. Last one. Oh my goodness. Well, the good news is we're done with that side. The bad news, or maybe the better news, is that we have another side to do, in case you were sad about moving on from that exercise. So let's reach it over to the other side. We're starting with that full range. Good. So noticing how as the body really heats up into this, you're able to go a little bit deeper. Just because we've warmed up those muscles, we're bringing blood to the surface. Good, digging deep, making sure that knee is in alignment right above the ankle. We're sending more of our weight into the back of the body. Now give me half range of the top. So this should feel good. This is like our little break. Kind of, right? It's all relative. So we're working up our mental stamina. We're building that up, psyching ourselves up for that half range on the bottom. Now, there it is. Whoo! Yes. We're gonna feel so good when this is over. We'll have that pleasantly sore feeling tomorrow, reminding us of how hard we've worked, knowing that we're creating change in the body. Here's 2. 1, now hold it here. It's 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Remember, I don't want to see any bouncing. I can see you from here, I can see you. I'll know if you're bouncing, but no, I know that you're not. I know that you are giving me such slow, controlled, muscle-driven movement here, and I am so proud of you. How about 4, 3, 2, give me a hold here, fly those arms out, draw that heart open. All right, here's that giant burner we're ending with. It's a full range into a leg lift, full range leg lift. You are a rock star. Yes, you can do this. We're getting stronger. We're getting more flexible. We're burning calories. We're creating a body that's free from injury. Give me 2. Here's one. Amazing. Shake those legs out. Hallelujah. How about we do a little pigeon pose here? And then take it over to the other side. All right, curtsy lunges are next. So we're going to sweep the right leg behind the left and then step it back in. We're adding a rotation. So again, you decide how low to go with your rotation. Or if the rotation is really throwing you off, you can skip it. Hopefully I want you to return to this workout again and again. So if the rotation is just in your future, it doesn't have to be the very first time you do this. Maybe that's just a goal. You got this. This is so good for your spine to move in rotation though, so it's a great goal to work towards. How about two more? Here's one. Now I want you to plant that foot behind you at the diagonal. Take that torso upright, and we're coming all the way down to the end range of motion, and then halfway only, all the way down to the bottom half of that curtsy lunge. Yes, so the knees never fully straighten. Both knees are bending, so my back knee is bending just as much as my front knee. Ah, yes. Getting ready for pulses now. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. It's so slow and so tiny, you almost can't even see it. But it's real. Whew. Legs are burning. It's so good for you. Here's 2. 1. Now could you hold it here? Hold it here. If you need to straighten the legs a little bit, do so a little bit, but could you hold it static with those legs? Take the arms up overhead. Yes, you can. Now arms come to the hips, or hands come to the hips, and without straightening the front leg and without moving that back foot, I want you to straighten into the back knee only and then just bend it right back in. Straighten, bend, straighten, bend. That's all you're doing. Yes, and don't worry, we are almost done with this side. Yes, you can do it. 3, 2, 1, and it's time to step out of that. Hallelujah. Very good. Let's see how the other side holds up. So we step back into that curtsy lunge at a diagonal and then right back to parallel. We add the rotation if we're doing rotation today. If not, we're just saving that for another day. How low you go is up to you. Yes, enjoying how it feels to move our bodies. Ensuring that we continue that freedom, that range of motion, that balance, that strength so that we can do everything we love in life. How about 2 more? And then I want you to step back so feet stay where they are, hands come to hips, torso comes up right, and it's down and only halfway up. Down, only halfway up. Keep a bend in those knees. That's where the good stuff is. Yes. We are creating so much strength and stability now. Now, could you hold here and give me 1 inch up, 1 inch down? Now, I don't care where your end range of motion is. Remember, I want you to feel like doing this workout again someday, but I do want you to challenge yourself. This is muscular endurance. So find that perfect Goldilocks edge. You're doing so, so well. Now, could you hold it here? Hold it at the bottom of your range of motion. Arms come overhead. Make sure you're drawing belly in still. Ribs are right over the hips. Take some nice deep breaths. Calm your nervous system through your breath, tricking your mind into believing that you are totally cool about this. Okay, so here comes that straighten and bend. So hands come to the hips. Without straightening the front leg, the back knee only is going to straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. So a little shift change here for you. Yes. Woo! I know if those legs are shaking, that just means you're creating some change in the body. That's what we signed up for, isn't it? We have 2, 1, and step it all the way in. Give those legs a little shaky shake. So good. So it's time to come onto our mats. We're gonna come to all fours underneath the hips. And I wanna show you something before we get into our reps here, because this is gonna make all the difference, and it's sometimes a common beginner mistake that I see here, and I wanna make sure you get the most out of it. So we're moving into our leg lifts, and we'll be doing a couple of things from here, but there's a tendency when people do this to wanna hike that hip up to the side so that it becomes easier to lift the leg higher. But our goal is not to make it easier. Our goal is to work the muscles. So this is more about the muscles in the opposite glute, the supporting glute, than it is about external rotation of the hip. So we're gonna keep the hips really level. So a good way to gauge this is to make sure that your belly button is pointing straight down below you, not off to the side at a diagonal. So once you're there, you're gonna point that toe and just extend that leg behind you. So lift and lower, lift and lower. You're gonna get a little bonus core workout here, but in order to do that, I want you to pull your belly in so that your back stays flat instead of arching or moving. Yes. Now see how it feels to do this exact same movement with a foot flexed. See if this changed the sensation at all in the hamstring and the glute. Now we're gonna up the ante a little bit. We're only gonna come down halfway and then lift all the way up to our high range of motion. Still keeping those hips squared though. Yes, good stuff. Working glutes, working core, working abs. Now could you give me 1 inch up, 1 inch down? Yes, you can. Now notice that that hip hiked up and level it out. Make sure your belly button is pointing right underneath you. You got it. Now we're gonna pause here, keeping those hips level, keeping the leg at its highest height. I want you to sweep the leg out to one side without shifting the torso or the hips, and then sweep it behind you at a diagonal. The leg is the only thing that's moving. You can do it. Try to keep that leg as high from one side as it is on the other. How about 2 more? This is also great for your obliques. Yes. And let's join knee to knee. Shake those hips side to side, and we'll see how the other side feels today. So we're starting with a pointed toe. Remember to square those hips off, and it's a full range lift. Tap the ground, lift, tap the ground. Be sure to pull the belly in to protect the back and to work more strength into the abdominal muscles. Yes, now see how it feels to flex that foot, and notice how that small shift in the angle of the joint changed the sensation of the muscles that are working. Was that harder or easier for you? Make sure you're breathing deeply here. More oxygen just means more fuel for your muscles. Now we're gonna take only that half range motion, so lifting all the way and then lowering only halfway. Drop that hip if it just lifted up. Now could you give me 1 inch up, 1 inch down? Now take it side to side. Keep the torso so still as you do this. Keep that belly button pulling in toward your spine, away from your shirt. Give me 1 more each direction. Amazing. So from here, I'm going to be using a set of gliding discs underneath my feet. If you don't have gliding discs, you can grab a couple of washcloths or hand towels, place those under your feet. Those will work on a hard surface if you're on a hard surface. If not, you can just do the same thing we're about to do, just one leg at a time. Instead of gliding the knees in, you would just pull them in one at a time and step instead of glide. So from here, we're going to pull the knees in and then send the legs out. Pull the knees in, send them out. Exhale as you draw it in, inhale as you push away. Try to keep your hips level. Notice if they wanted to rise and fall as you do this. Try to keep them in the same place. It's the work of your abdominals that are pulling the knees in. This is so good. If you prefer to do this on your forearms, if you're still working on building up strength in your wrists, you can. Whew. Now take the knees down just for a moment. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come into alternating knees. So you could glide from right knee to left elbow, left knee to right elbow. Again, if you don't have gliding discs, you would just pick the foot up and take that knee towards the elbow and then just step it back and alternate. If you didn't have gliding discs or towels, but hopefully you found some towels. Yes, how about 2 more each side? Yes, you can. Exhale as you crunch, inhale as you lengthen. Whew, and come all the way down onto your mat. So good. We're gonna make our way into a seated position. And then just sit comfortably, so like cross-legged position is great. Hands are gonna come behind our head, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Now, if this creates too much tension in the shoulders and your shoulders want to tend to hunch up around your ears, you could also take your fingertips to your forehead. From here, sitting up nice and tall first, I want you to think about lengthening through both sides of your body. So sitting up nice and tall, continuing to lengthen in both sides of the body as though you were you're bending your body over a bar. I want you to dip your elbow towards the right side. And then exhale, come up tall. Inhale, reach to the left. Exhale, nice and tall. So every time I'm reaching to the side, I'm still lifting in that side, just as though there were like a bar underneath me. Good, I'm working muscles in the sides of my waist, my obliques. And making sure my body moves in every direction it was designed to move in, so I can stay balanced and symmetrical and feel good. Let's do 1 more in each direction. Awesome. So from here, we're gonna come all the way onto our back, bending into the knees. We're gonna extend the right leg as we take both arms and reach outside that right leg, and then reach it back as we take that leg down. Left leg extends on a diagonal as we reach towards the left side of the leg and reach it down. Good. So knees are staying parallel, meaning that that shin that you're extending is going on a diagonal, not straight up to the sky. Oh, yes. Using the strength of your abs to draw it up. How about 1 more each direction? And come all the way down. From here, I'm going to have your arms along by your sides, send the legs up to the sky, and then doing a reverse crunch, you're going to just lift the hips as high as they'll go. It may not actually be anything visible. It's a lot of work, and then release it back down. Good. Lift the hips if you can and extend it back down. Lift, extend back down. Good. Release there, and now we're just going to do the opposite. So lifting head, neck, and shoulders. We're just going to reach for those toes. If this bothers your neck at all, you can skip it. Do 2 more. 1 more. Good. Let's return those feet to the ground. From here, I'm just going to take a quick yoga pose to release any pressure from the neck. We always want to make sure that if we do any forward flexion with the neck, that we release pressure from it. So I want your palms to come underneath your glutes, face down, elbows bend, and your heart lifts, allowing that head to drop behind you. Crown of the head rests very gently, lightly touching the floor. Just making sure that if you put any tension into that neck from that abdominal work, that you release it. And then return the back of the head to the mat. Take the knees nice and wide. And we're just gonna tick-tock those knees from one direction to the other. Maybe taking your gaze towards the opposite direction of the knees to continue stretching out that neck. And draw both knees into your chest. Rock up into seated. And that is it, my friend. You did so well. I'm so proud of you for showing up here, and I can't wait to work out with you again.